All right, so I think I promised you guys this video for like a long time now. I actually think I owe you guys this video at this point. From knowing we have over 300,000 subscribers on one channel, which is the shorts channel, and then we have the main stories, these long, amazing stories that you guys actually listen to almost daily now, and getting another 100,000 subscribers is insane. You guys are actually changing my life. Knowing how we went from literally telling stories about me doing silly things to now literally telling the story about how Bubba streams, aka Bubba, aka Arash Bubba Moini on famous birthdays. Check it out. Make sure to go boost me. Lost it. This is intense. So like I always say, sit back, relax, and let's get straight into this story. What is going on, you guys? My name's Bubba, and welcome to another crazy story. Obviously, this is the story everyone's been waiting for, and this story starts back in middle school. That's right, literally middle school. Now, middle school was literally, I think, the most craziest time of my life. Why? Well, that's when I started experiencing hormones, aka, you know, getting the schlong long thing. Yeah, anyways, yeah, basically, you know, having that experience of, you know, hitting those hormones and hitting puberty in a sense. And when you hit puberty, you start finding things attractive, aka women, or I mean, whatever you prefer in a sense. I should remember it's 2021, and obviously, you know, a lot of things have changed. For example, you know, people be who they want to be, and I love it. Anyways, off topic, back to what I was saying. So yeah, obviously the way I lost it was one of the most craziest things, and I will always remember it to this day, because like, let's just say I was kind of like in forever in my mind. And I always kind of replay it sometimes thinking, you know, if I didn't lose it that day, who would I be today? Because, you know, basically almost all my content, or a lot of my content, is based around crazy, scary experiences I had either with a woman or, you know, with my buddies of mine, or just something I shouldn't have done in the first place. And I honestly like got to give it to this girl that I did it with. Like she took it like a champ. But anyways, like I was saying, back in middle school, this was my, I want to say seventh year in school, grade 7, almost grade 8, somewhere around there. I remember I was a really different person. My only values and only special thing I ever cared about really in reality was, of course, my Xbox, my gaming. And of course, after my middle school crush totally just denied me, I didn't have anything or anyone in a sense. Now, I'm not gonna lie, there was a buddy of mine that I had back in middle school. He knew this chick that was really outstanding. She was beautiful and she was smart. Now, I didn't find her attractive like that. Like, I didn't find her in a way where like I was a helpless romantic like I usually am in most of these stories. But I did actually like, you know, find her just hot in a sense. Like, you know, like how a guy would walk up to you and be like, oh, you're hot. That's for the ladies, by the way. Like, I think they'll understand it more than the guys. For guys, just expect a girl walking up to you really just wanting to do the devil's tango with you. Like, it's one of those senses. But anyways, the way I lost it was very odd because it had to do something with this girl. Now, my buddy was friends with this girl, and this girl was just, you know, she was chilling, she was beautiful, she was smart, and she lived near a middle school. It wasn't my middle school, but she went to another middle school. And I remember meeting her at the mall, kind of like hanging out with her, with like her friend and my friend that was friends with her. And it was just a weird triangle in a sense. Like, it wasn't a love triangle, but it was like a friend circle triangle, whatever shape you want it to be. I don't really care at this point. But yeah, she was a great girl and stuff. And I remember like at the mall when we were all hanging out for the first time, I exchanged Snapchats with her, and bippity boppity boo, I don't know, I just kind of started hitting her up out of the blue. That kind of rhymed. That was actually really cool. Can we keep that in there? Anyways, like I was saying though. Anyways, so when me and her got home, or at least when she got home at her place and I got home at my place, we started snapping each other like crazy. And by like crazy, I mean literally like I couldn't focus on playing my Call of Duty and literally going on my phone snapping her. And I had like an iPhone 6 at the time. Like, this wasn't anything special. And it was just really weird to like snap her over and over on my phone when I should be playing with the boys. But anyways, I did, and we kept snapping back and forth, and it got to the point where, you know, I guess she had a lot more experience than me. Like, she had a lot more experience than me. And by experience, I mean like she was like already like the masters of the devil's tango. And she was like kind of asking me questions like, so like, did you do it yet? Are you used to it? How many times have you done it? Have you ever gotten the Glock 9000? Okay, that last one was a joke, but you kind of get the gist of it. It was really, really awkward because she was asking me all these questions that I never had experience with, okay? But she did. And what do I decide to do? Well, I decided to do what every boy I think has done in their life, and that's lie, okay? I literally lied to this chick saying I was the best at doing the devil's tango, which is kind of funny now because I think I am actually pretty good at it. But it's funny to hear it like from back then, me knowing I actually lied to a chick being that good at it, and then now not being greatest at it but pretending I was good at doing the devil's tango. I don't know, it was very, very weird. Anyways, like I was saying though, after we had that conversation, she was, you know, sending me photos. You know, I'm not gonna say what because YouTube might demonetize this, but you know, it was, you know, I was getting sent the thingamabobs, you know what I'm saying, like the cherries and peaches. That's what we're gonna call it, cherries and peaches. And me enjoying the view. I don't know what happened, but she then snapped me saying, hey, hey, do you want to like meet up? Now at this point, like I said, I was in middle school. I didn't have a car. I didn't have anything. It was late at night. I want to say it was like almost like 3 a.m. Okay, it wasn't 3 a.m. I think it was like more like 1:30, but it felt like 3 a.m. because I don't know, time just wasn't a thing for me back then. But anyways, yeah, so she snapped me. She was telling me all this and I was like, okay, like I'm down. Me sounding like Mr. Confident over here about everything. I just said I'm down. And let's just say when we actually like, you know, planned out what we were going to do, she told me to meet up at a middle school, a literal middle school. It wasn't our middle school, thank God, but it was another middle school that was like near her place. And I remember I had no idea how to get there because it was like a 20-minute walk from me, or like more like half an hour in a sense. So I decided to get my BMX bike and actually ride down there. And yes, I had a beautiful BMX bike. I used to be like a BMX kid back then. But anyways, I got my BMX bike and I rode all the way, like the whole, like, I want to say it almost took me like 15 minutes, almost half of the time it usually gets to get there. I don't know. I had lived on a hill, so it was very easy to go down hills. Going back wasn't the fun part. But anyways, like I was saying though, so I rode all the way down and I basically made it to the middle school she told me to meet up at, and she was sitting at a bench by herself. When she was sitting at the bench, she was like, you know, told me to sit down and told me about life and stuff. And then she kind of looked at me and stuff. She's like, so are you gonna make a move? Okay, whoa, okay. Like this girl, like, oh, she was more confident than ever. Like, damn, she like really just, in a way, like this sounds really bad, but she really wanted it. Okay, like I didn't know what to do. So I remember I decided to literally like get my hand, and I remember counting to 3 and just putting my hand on like her cherry. Yeah, I'm trying to like describe this the best way possible. And let's just say from there, we went under like this undercover area at the middle school and we did the Devil's Tango. And yeah, it just happened. And I remember after the whole thing, it was so awkward being with her because, like, you know, I didn't want to tell her it was my first time, but in a way she kind of figured it out because, well, I didn't know where it actually went to be. Anyways, yeah, so it was awkward in general. But yeah, either way, one way or another, I ended up doing it. And yeah, that's how I lost it. And then from there, I don't know, I just kind of always had the urge to do it again and again. And let's just say I became who I am today, Baba Streams, aka the Devil's Tango guy that you guys may know me for, which I really don't want to resolve my brand around, you know, doing the Devil's Tango. So if you guys have like any experiences you guys actually want to hear, that's more than just, you know, me getting chicks, which, you know, yes, I'm really good at doing that, but there's other things too. Put in the comments down below. But anyways, guys, that's basically it for the video. Thank you so much for 100,000 subscribers, 2 plaques already on the board. Thanks to you guys. Make sure you guys subscribe to all the channels, leave a like, subscribe, and like I always say, follow for more embarrassing stories. Peace. I remember as I was super bricked in class, I got super embarrassed to the point where I got up and I ran to the bathroom. And since I was alone in the bathroom, I thought, oh, you know what? I should just deal with it. And I went inside the bathroom stall, and that's when I did the biggest mistake ever. Yo, what is going on, you guys? My name's Bubba, and welcome back to another embarrassing but insane story. So today's story all takes place back when I was in high school. This was my grade 9 year. Now, high school was a really difficult time for me. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, it's true. I was a major player, but still, there's a lot of parts of high school that I really hated. And one of them was hitting puberty. Now, if you guys don't know, going from grade 8 to grade 9 for me was the major puberty jump. That's when I really started to become, I guess, the full-on man that I am today, which sounds really embarrassing from the way I'm about to tell this story, but honestly, it is what it is. But I remember one day in my grade 9 year, I was entering inside my school to start the day. And as I walked inside my school, I went straight for my social studies classroom. Now, my social studies class, it was a pretty boring class, don't get me wrong, but I remember having one girl in that class that I had a major crush on. Now, in my grade 9 year, I wasn't confident enough to pull girls. Don't get me wrong, I've done the Devil's Tango before that, but still, in terms of my Riz game, it wasn't that good. To the point where I really like struggled going up to girls and I guess showing that I had confidence in some sort of way. So knowing that I had no way to pull up to my crush was really, really embarrassing. And also another thing that you guys need to know for the story to make sense is that back when I was in grade 9, the crush that I had was a girl that was really innocent. And by innocent, I don't mean like she was a nun. Like, I'm talking about she was basically a person that wasn't a player, nor was she interested in any other guy. She always kept to herself, focused on her schoolwork, and always made sure she was covered up by the shoulders. I know that sounds kind of weird for me to say, but at the same time, you guys gotta understand, nowadays in the school system, you see some pretty whack people wearing the most whack outfits ever. And me thinking that my crush would never end up being that way, well, it seems in 1 year, a person can change a lot. Because I remember as like 6 months went by of me not being able to go up to my crush and not able to say anything to her, rumors started to spread around that I had a crush on her. And don't get me wrong, I might have told like 1 or 2 people that I had a crush on her, but I didn't think things would spread out that fast. To the point where I remember she knew I had a crush on her, and she always wanted me to basically walk up to her and kind of ask her out. Obviously for me, well, God knows that wasn't gonna happen because I did not have any confidence to do so whatsoever. Until that one day 6 months later, where I remember my crush, she ended up skipping class for some reason, and I started to become curious of why. I even ended up seeing her in the school hallway, and she looked at me expecting me to walk up to her, but did I? No, because once again, I had no confidence. And also, not to mention, I had a majorly bad stutter. I might have mentioned that many times on this channel, but still, my grade 9 year, okay, I was stuttering like the nutcracker. But that's not even the worst part, because I remember as she was staring at me to walk up to her, I ended up walking a different way, and then she ended up walking up to one of my friends. I kept walking when she walked up to my friend because I did not want to interact with her because I didn't want to embarrass myself. But then after a while, my friend ended up running up to me and catching up with me saying, yo, Bubba, why don't you just like go like talk to her? What? Why would I do that? Bubba, she wants to talk to you, bro. She's interested in you. What do you mean? Why would she be interested in me? I don't know. Maybe because you had a crush on her this entire school year? Bro, I'm not gonna walk up to her, okay? That's weird. Bubba, you're missing out, bro. Girls never shoot first, and the more you make them wait, the more they change. I didn't know what he meant by this, but when he gave me that piece of advice, I thought it was pure baloney until 3 days later. Because 3 days later, I remember I was sitting inside my social studies classroom, and that's when I realized that my crush ended up walking in. She walked in with a totally different outfit, and this outfit was really, really tight. And by tight, I mean tight like her cherries were about to explode, and her peach was showing more than the Canadian flag on top of our school. It was literally insane. And I remember as I'm looking at her, staring at her, I got really confused, but then I got really, really attracted to her. To the point where I remember she caught me staring, and what she ended up doing was walking up to me. She walked up to me and said, hey, Bubba, how are you doing? I'm good. Me being totally nervous, not knowing what to say. Oh, well, I don't know. Like, I just wanted to like say, like, I think you're pretty awesome. And like, I don't know, like, you down to like hang out sometime? I remember I couldn't get a word out because I was so nervous, but I remember she ended up putting her hand literally on my thigh as she was saying this. And God knows what ended up happening next. Well, I mean, not only God knows now, I guess you guys are about to know because I'm about to tell you guys that no joke, my eggplant got super brick. Like so brick to the fact that I started panicking and being super, super nervous. And I remember it got to the point where my crush actually ended up rubbing my thigh. And that's when I stood up as fast as I could saying, yeah, sure, we could definitely hang out. Okay, I gotta go. And I remember I ended up sprinting out of that classroom so quick. And I went straight for the guy's bathroom. I ended up going inside the guy's bathroom and closing the stall door. And since I was alone in there, I ended up thinking to myself, honestly, like I could just quickly get rid of this and then go back to class and pretend nothing happened. And that's what I did. I ended up whipping out my eggplant and beating it for the first time at school. Yeah, that sounds really bad to say. And before anyone says anything, please don't cancel me, okay? I was a dumb kid back then. I didn't know any better. And always remember this, guys. Do not do what I do in these stories. Seriously, a lot of regret can come out of them. But anyways, going on with the story, I remember things got a lot worse. Because I remember as I was beating my eggplant, out of nowhere, I ended up hearing random guys coming into the school bathroom. They came inside the school bathroom, and funny enough, they were literally from my class. They ended up saying to each other, yo, I wonder where that Bubba guy went, bro. Like, his crush ended up walking up to him and he just runs away. What a weirdo.
Yeah, I know, right? Like, why would he do that? Like, he's so weird for just running away.
And as they were talking about me, I remember my hand was just holding my eggplant, super worried and hoping that they wouldn't hear me breathing at all. But then I remember as they were looking around, they ended up realizing that they weren't in the bathroom alone because one of the guys ended up saying,
oh, yo, wait, is that Bubba's shoes? Yo, I think that's Bubba's shoes, guys.
Bubba, is that you in there? I remember that moment, I instantly stood up and pulled up my pants as fast as possible. Even though I was still super brick, I remember I pulled up my pants, opened the stall door and said, yeah, hey guys, what's going on?
Bubba, you forgot to flush.
Oh, right, sorry. I remember I ended up going to flush the toilet and these guys just started making fun of me. And that's when one of the guys ended up asking, yo, Bubba, are you gonna like actually like go out with this girl or like am I allowed to like slide in as well? I remember when he said that, I turned around and literally said to him, what? No, I like her and I'm gonna talk to her. It's just, I don't know, it's just hard for me to. And that's when they gave me the biggest piece of advice ever. Bubba, if you want to pull a girl, bro, just count down from 3 and just say what you gotta say, man. Don't be a wimp. Be a man. I remember at first, I thought this advice was the most dumbest thing ever coming out of this guy's mouth. And probably you guys are thinking the same thing, if I'm being honest with you. But I remember I ended up going back into the hallway, still totally bricked up, by the way. And I remember I saw my crush walking down the hallway. She walks up to me and says, Bubba, there you are. Listen, I'm sorry if I made you nervous. Honestly, like, I just really want to talk to you and like, actually like give you a chance. But it just seems like you don't want it or you do. I can't really tell anymore. And that's when I ended up doing what the guy said. I counted down from 3 and said, so honestly, I'm down to like hang out. It's just like, you know, I have a really bad stutter. So if I sound stupid, I'm sorry. Well, you didn't stutter that time. Yeah, I know. Oh, you did that time is what she says. And she starts laughing. Honestly, at first I was embarrassed, but then she ended up holding my hand, and me and her actually ended up walking across the street and going to get some pizza together from 7-Eleven. I guess moral of the story is that don't go in the bathroom and beat your eggplant. Just go out with your crush and be a man. Actually, that sounds terrible. Honestly, just don't do anything at school that's sus, okay? Seriously, don't follow along my footsteps. But if you guys think this story is totally fake, then fall for more embarrassing stories just like this one. Peace out, guys. Okay, so today's story has got to be one of the most embarrassing things I've ever told. But I'm gonna be honest here, a lot of you guys for some reason enjoyed the video where I talked about beating my meat for the first time, but I bet you guys did not know that I also beated it at school. And it's super weird how this happened, so make sure you guys press that like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and let's just jump straight into this. Yo, what is going on, you guys? My name's Bubba, and welcome back to a really embarrassing story. So this story all takes place back when I was in grade 6, and when I just first started to, you know, I guess beat my meat. I don't know why, but like beating your meat became like such a normalized thing in middle school, at least for me. And I don't know about girls, obviously for some reason they mature faster than guys, but I'm not gonna lie to you, the only way I knew how to handle my, you know, eggplant at the time, every time it got bricked, was to, you know, basically beat it. And I remember one time when I was in school, I was basically going to my locker. My locker was right beside my middle school crushes, by the way, which I talk a lot about her on the channel to the point where it's kind of creepy, but at the same time I guess I kind of just dwell over middle school. Like I'm literally like Greg Heffley, except an adult version that keeps talking about middle school. Wow, I never realized how much those books actually mean to me. Anyways, going on with the story, I remember basically I was walking up to my locker and my middle school crush's locker was right beside mine. And when I went up to my locker, I remember I had to get ready for PE class, but I was always so nervous to go to my locker when my crush was there, because obviously that would mean that I have to interact with her, which is the main reason why I got the locker. So I decided to just say whatever and go up to my locker and start opening it. As I start opening it, I remember she looks over at me and says, what you up to? I'm just getting ready for class, you know, same old. What about you? Oh, you know, I'm just getting ready for class as well. What class do you got? Oh, I have PE. And as I'm about to reach into my locker for my gym bag, she automatically decides to basically touch me, move me aside, and grab my gym bag for me. She grabbed it and gave it to me saying, here's your gym bag. And at that moment, I was so nervous. And I got to the point where I kept staring at her eyes and I got aroused. And then afterwards, I ended up grabbing my bag and running away. I didn't even lock my locker. She ended up locking it for me, which was nice of her. But at the same time, I didn't really know what to do at that moment. I remember from there, I instantly ran to basically PE class. But before that, I had to go to the change room. And when I went to the change room, all the guys were there changing. But me, one thing I realized about myself was that I was bricked. And the only way I knew how to handle getting bricked at the time was, well, beating my eggplant. Yeah, kind of weird. But honestly, on this channel, let's be real here, I've told worse. I remember from there, I was super nervous to get changed in front of everyone because I knew everyone was going to make fun of me getting bricked. So what I decided to do was go to the middle school showers that were in the change room and basically get changed in there. But obviously, before I got changed, since I was wearing sweatpants for PE, I decided to basically beat my meat in the shower at middle school. Yeah, I'm gonna say this right now, the middle school showers are literally cursed, and whoever actually uses the showers in middle school was probably a weirdo or your ugly gym teacher. But one thing for me, I'm not gonna lie to you, I was so like just bricked to the point where I knew if I wore my sweatpants and went to class, everyone was gonna notice that I was still bricked. So obviously I decided to, you know, beat my meat, you know, and then I ended up just putting on my gym clothes and went straight to PE. I went to PE class and obviously I wasn't bricked up anymore since I dealt with it, and on top of that, I hated PE class because I kept getting nailed in the head in dodgeball, because for some reason dodgeball is a unit. I don't know why. It's not like I'm gonna be dodging balls in real life, maybe bullets one day, but not balls. And then one thing led to another. I remember after PE class, I ended up going back towards the change rooms to get changed for my next class. As I was heading to the change rooms, I remember all the guys were there, but they weren't changing. They were all surrounding the middle school showers and looking at the ground saying, what is that white stuff on the ground? Wait, guys, come look at this. And I remember from there, everyone started to look at my devil's cream that was on the ground. I remember I was so nervous to go up there, and one of my friends actually came up to me, tapping me on the back saying, yo, Bubba, someone did the devil's cream in the middle school showers. Can you imagine? No, I can't imagine. That's so weird. Who would do that? That's like so disgusting. I had to pretend that it wasn't me because obviously I didn't want to get made fun of. So from there, I remember I ended up just basically not getting changed and ran straight for my locker. And honestly, who knows? Maybe like the middle school had like something they can like probe, you know, my devil's cream, and then like basically basically like scan, and who knows, maybe that like devil's cream could have identified me. Like I was in serious risk, people. At least that's what I thought in middle school. So from there, what I decided to do was basically go straight to my locker. And when I got there, I remember I ended up basically seeing my middle school crush there. When I saw her there, she was getting ready for her next class, and for some reason we kept going to our lockers at the same time. But at the same time, that's what I got the locker for in the first place. And when I walked up to my locker, I remember she looked at me saying, "Oh, you didn't get changed?" Nah, I like sweatpants. And then I remember she looks over at me and says, "Oh, like I recognize those sweatpants. My older brother has a pair," and ends up touching my sweatpants. She literally touched me near my eggplant area. I remember I was freaking out. I'm like, "Oh yeah, that's cool." And I remember I ran straight for my next class. But before I went through that door, I realized that I was bricked once again. At this point, I didn't know what to do. There was only one way I knew how to handle it, and that was with Mother Nature herself and my left hand. So I remember I went straight to the bathrooms, and I went straight into a bathroom stall, and I decided to beat my meat once again. Obviously, you know, I did my thing. I did the devil's cream for the second time at school, which is super weird, by the way. And I remember right as I walk out of the bathroom stall, instantly I see two boys vaping in there that were in grade 8, just looking at me thinking, bro, there's no way this guy actually just beated his meat in a stall in middle school. What a weirdo. And then he ended up basically laughing at me, and I ran out of the bathroom. And well, one thing led to another. I was known for beating my meat in school. Obviously, this was super embarrassing, but I'm not gonna lie to you, there was an upside to the story, because I remember later on that year, I guess a lot of us started hitting puberty even more, and it got to the point where there was a chart on the bathroom stall wall that was basically how many times people have beaten their meat in the stall. That's super weird, and I shouldn't be saying that because it's kind of gross at the same time. But hey, I mean, I wasn't the only one. I don't know. Moral of the story is that try to control yourselves. It's probably better to control yourself than not. Anyways, guys, that is basically it for today's embarrassing story. Make sure you guys press that like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Seriously, it means a lot when you guys do. And just follow for more embarrassing stories just like this one. Peace out, guys.
My name is Baba. I'm still on top of the world. Devils take with your mother. Of course, let's go. Should I make it a story? Let's click record.